Hello students, welcome back to Steve Vidya Lakshmi Metric Ascend School YouTube channel. Our school is trying to help the students to understand the concepts better. You can learn the concepts whenever you find time. You can watch the video whenever you find time. You can recall the videos. You can understand the concept better. நீங்கள் இந்த கிளாஸ் 12 டாபிக்ஸ்லாம் உங்களுக்கு எப்போ வேணுமோ நீங்கள் அப்போல்லாம் இந்த யூடியூப்பில் நீங்கள் சேனல் பார்க்கலாம். பார்த்து அந்த கான்செப்ட் வந்து நீங்கள் ஈஸியாக புரிஞ்சுக்கிற மாதிரி நாங்கள் இந்த வீடியோ அப்லோட் பண்ணுறோம். இந்த வீடியோஸ் உங்களுக்கு கண்டிப்பாக யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்னு நாங்கள் நம்புகிறோம். ஓகே, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நம்பர் கிளாஸ் 12ல் எலக்ட்ரோஸ்டாட்டிக்ஸ் சாப்டர் பார்த்துட்ருக்கோம். டுடே வி ஷல் லுக் அட் பார்ட் 4. Gauss law and electric flux. Gauss law and electric flux. Electric flux is force lines. Electric flux is force line, number of force lines perpendicular to the given area. When area is there in electric flux, you just imagine force lines are here. Imagine force lines are here. Electric force lines are here. Imagine electric force lines are here. Okay. And the number of lines crossing area perpendicular to this. You just imagine this is a surface. Imagine this is a surface kept in electric field. Imagine this is a surface kept in electric field. If it is kept like this is normal to the surface. This is normal to the surface, isn't it? Normal to the surface. So how much force lines are passing through this area? How much force lines are passing through this area? That is flux. Okay, the beautiful picture is there in our textbook. You see, this is force lines. Force lines are acting from minus x to plus x axis. Okay, it is acting along this direction. And imagine a surface here like this. Imagine a surface. This is normal to the surface. This is normal to the surface. And in this case, imagine the surface is kept like this. This is normal to the surface. This is normal to the surface. In this case, angle between electric force lines, electric field and normal to the surface is 90 degree. In the first case, the angle between normal to the surface and electric field line is 0. Theta is equal to 0. In the first case, here theta is equal to 0. Here theta is equal to 0. Here theta is equal to 90. Here theta is equal to 90. Here theta is equal to 90 degree. In this case, you see that it is inclined like this. The surface is slightly inclined like this. This is normal to the surface. This is normal to the surface. The electric field which it is acting in the same direction. Electric field is acting in the same direction. That electric field is resolved into two components. Okay, it is resolved into two components. So this side you get E cos theta and here you get E sin theta. Now E cos theta, this E cos theta component is normal to the surface. E cos theta component is normal to the surface. Here theta lies between here theta is equal to it lies between 0 and 90. 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 It lies between 0 degree and 90. It's between 0 and 90 degree. Against 0 degree and 90 degree. It lies between 0 and 90 degree. So flux here, actually flux is number of lines crossing perpendicular to the surface. Electric flux pi is equal to number of lines crossing perpendicular to the surface. And pi is equal to q by epsilon naught. Pi is equal to q by epsilon naught. Flux in a surface, in a closed surface, is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times charge enclosed by the surface. 1 by epsilon naught times charge enclosed by the surface. This epsilon naught is permittivity. Epsilon naught is permittivity. This epsilon naught is permittivity. It is how much the field, how much the surface, how much the medium will allow the electric force lines to pass through. That is permittivity, allowing nature of the medium. Epsilon naught value is 8.854 into 10 power minus 12 into 10 power minus 12. Epsilon naught value is 8.854 into 10 power minus 12. Okay, this is also another example where force lines are moving in this direction. The force lines are acting along this direction, and there is a surface kept. There is a surface kept here. When the area is rotated, when the object is rotated, what happens? The theta value continuously changes. Theta value continuously changes. Gauss law says that the total electric flux over any closed surface, total electric flux over any closed surface, total electric flux over any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times charge enclosed by the surface, that is pi equal to closed integral E ds cos theta or E dA cos theta, E dA cos theta, and can also be written as pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface, total charge enclosed by the surface. Gauss law of electrostatics says that total electric flux over any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. How much charge is there within the given surface, that is flux. Can also be written as pi is equal to E dA cos theta. The closed integral indicates that it's a closed surface. It's a closed surface. Theta is the angle between normal to the surface. Theta is angle between normal to the surface and the direction of electric field. Theta is angle between normal to the surface and the direction of electric field. Now let us go to the next concept. So in case if it is not a perfect area, in the previous case we used one small teaching aid like this. In the previous case we had a object like this, isn't it? This was the area we used. Okay, the area is kept here. The area is perfect here. The area is perfect. Then this is normal to the surface, and we can easily calculate the number of lines crossing this. Whereas area like this, which is not well defined, in this case we can imagine an area, small area, normal to the surface, and we can calculate electric field there, and later we can integrate to the entire area. For example, for a surface like that, arbitrary surface which is not well defined like this, you just imagine a surface like this is kept in electric field. Imagine a surface which is not a perfect shape, is kept in electric field like this. Imagine electric field is acting here, uniform electric field, and the force lines are parallel to each other. If the force lines are parallel to each other, it indicates that uniform electric field. Force lines always start at positive charge, terminate at negative charge. You just imagine a surface like this or area like this is kept here like this. Okay, here you just imagine this is an object kept here in electric field like this. Imagine this is an object kept here like this. Now, normal to this surface, you have to, how can we calculate electric flux? Pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface, or pi equal to closed integral E dA cos theta, where theta is angle between normal to the surface and direction of electric field. See here the direction of electric field is, this is the direction of electric field. Then normal to the surface, you just look at this here, at this point, normal to the surface is here, along this direction. This is normal to the surface. This is the direction of electric field, so this will be theta, there. For the same object, I can consider a small area here, So at this point, if I consider a small area here if we consider a small area, this is normal. Normal is along the direction of electric field. This is normal, this is the direction of electric field. In this case, theta is equal to 0. In the previous case, theta is not equal to 0. It lies between 0 and 90. For this area, if I consider a small area here, at this point, if I consider a small area here, normal, this is the direction of normal, okay, and this is electric field direction. In this case, theta is equal to 90 degree. Similarly, if I consider a small area here at the back side here, at this point, if I consider a small area here, this is normal to the surface. This is normal to the surface. Okay, direction of electric field will be, that is theta will be greater than 90. Theta will be greater than 90 degree. If we are imagining a perfect area like this, then we can easily find out theta. Okay, this is normal. Theta is constant, isn't it? Theta is constant here. Whatever the area we are considering on the surface, theta is equal to 0. Theta, angle between normal to the surface and the electric field, in all points it is 0. If the surface is slightly inclined, if it is tilted like this, then theta value, just for understanding, you take that theta is equal to 45 degree in this case. Then wherever on the surface, wherever we calculate theta value is constant, it is 45 degree, The surface is kept like this, then wherever you calculate theta value is 90. Theta is angle between normal to the surface and direction of electric field, that is 90. Okay, whereas for a surface like this, which is not perfect like this, in this case, at different parts of the object, theta value is different. In some places, theta is equal to 0, in some places it is 90, in some places it will be 180, in some parts of the object, in some part of the area, theta lies between 0 and 90, in some places theta lies between 90 and 180. With this angle, we substitute here and we calculate flex. We know that we are using cos theta there. Cos graph goes like this, isn't it? Cos graph goes like this. This is cos graph, isn't it? This is cos graph. 0, plus 1, minus 1. Here we have 90 degree and here it is 180 degree and here it is 270 degree and here it is 360 degree. So you could see that as theta value changes from 0 to 180, then what happens? The cos theta value will change from plus 1 to minus 1, based on the angle. Cos theta value changes from plus 1 to minus 1. Therefore, the flex value pi may have positive value or even it could have negative value. Flex pi will have positive value, it can also have negative value. It is based on the theta, theta. Flex will change from minus to plus. Actually, flex is number of lines. We are calculating number of lines crossing perpendicular to the surface. It's a mere number. So it's not a vector quantity, it's a scalar quantity. We are just calculating the number of lines. But its value may change from, it may have either plus, even it may have minus also. It is based on the theta, here. So in such case, we have to find out flux due to the small area, Like this we can imagine another area here, delta A2 we can find out. Here we can find out another area, imagine another area delta A3 and we have to add everything. Okay, flux pi is equal to, closed integral EdA. Then we can write that sigma I is equal to 1 to n, okay, E suffix I and A suffix I. You can imagine small area like this at different parts and we can integrate everything, we can add everything. Sigma I is equal to 1 to n EI AI. So like this we can find out the electric field for different shape objects. So Gauss law says that total electric flux over any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times charge enclosed by the surface. Total electric flux equal to closed integral E dA cos theta. Total flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. If the charge is outside the surface, it is not going to contribute anything to the electric flux inside the surface. For example, you just imagine a surface like this. Imagine a sphere. plus 5q charge is inside the surface, and the minus 2q charge is also inside the surface. Minus 2q charge is also inside the surface, and imagine plus 5q charge is outside the surface. Plus 5q charge is outside the surface. Now, if you want to calculate electric flux here for the enclosed surface, then flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. Flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. This is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times here we have plus 5q and we have minus 2q. This is the only charge enclosed by the surface. These are the charge within the surface. This plus 5q is outside the surface. It is not going to contribute anything to the flux of the enclosed surface. So we have to ignore this because it is outside the surface. Then flux enclosed by the surface will be equal to 1 by epsilon naught times 3q. If the charge is just outside the surface, that will not contribute to anything for the flux by the surface, enclosed by the surface. Just like the previous case, if the area is perfect like this, even if the area is perfectly, you just imagine the surface, it is like a rectangle, isn't it? It's like a rectangle. You just imagine breadth. You just imagine that here breadth is equal to take it as a 5 centimeter, and you just imagine length L is equal to 10 centimeter. So flux can be calculated. The flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. Flux pi is equal to closed integral E dA cos theta. That is equal to E electric field. Integral dA, that is area here. Here it is going to be length into breadth, isn't it? Rectangle, length into breadth, 10 centimeter into 5 centimeter. Area is, even you can imagine some value for electric field. Imagine the electric field areas, it is a 100 Newton per coulomb. That is another unit for electric field, isn't it? E is equal to 100 volt per meter. There are two units for electric field. One is Newton per coulomb. Electric field at a point is force experienced by charge. From this we get unit for electric field is Newton per coulomb. There is another equation that electric field equal to minus dV by dx. Electric field is equal to negative potential gradient. From this we get there is another unit for electric field, that is volt per meter. So area is 10 centimeter into 5 centimeter, that is 10 into 5, 10 power minus 4, because this is in centimeter, isn't it? In this case, for the first case, theta is equal to 0, cos 0 is 1. Then electric flux pi is equal to E value, it is 100, therefore it is 100 into 10 into 5 into 10 power minus 4. That is, you get 50 and you get 5000, correct? 10 into 5, 50, and then so it is 5000 into 10 power 4, 5000 into 10 power 4, 5000 into 10 power minus 4. Then you get 0.5, you get 0.5, flux pi is equal to 0.5. What is the unit for flux? We need not to memorize the unit. From this we can get unit. For any physical quantity, we need not to memorize the unit. If you know the equation, we can get the unit. Here pi is equal to closed integral E dA cos theta, isn't it? Flux pi E for E. Unit is, you can take either Newton per coulomb or volt per meter. So unit you can write it as, you take this, then Newton per coulomb. Area area meter square, therefore meter square, therefore meter square. Cos theta, it is degree, isn't it? Cos theta, it's degree, that we need to mention in this case, cos theta. So flux pi in this case is 0.5 Newton per coulomb and meter square. Like this we can find out electric field by substituting the values of theta here, okay. In this case, in the second case, theta is 90 degree. In the second case, theta is 90 degree. Theta is angle between normal and electric field, is theta is 90. Cos 90 is 0. Cos 90 is 0. Then flux pi will become 0. Pi will become 0. The third case, whatever the theta given, based on that we have to substitute the values. Children, I hope you understand this. So just imagine a sphere like this. When the charge is at the center of the sphere, the electric field everywhere normal to the surface and constant in magnitude. It's a spherical Gaussian surface. This Gaussian surface is imaginary surface. Gaussian surface is imaginary surface. Imagine a positive charge is here, and it will always be normal. On the surface it will always be normal. Electric field will be, it's a sphere. You just imagine a sphere. It will be normal everywhere, isn't it? It will be normal everywhere. Okay. Now we can relate Gauss law and Coulomb's law of electrostatics. We can relate Gauss law and Coulomb's law of electrostatics. Okay. What Gauss law says? Gauss law says that total electric flux over any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times charge enclosed by the surface, isn't it? Gauss law. Flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. Coulomb's law of electrostatics, force is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square, q1 q2 by r square, q1 q2 by r square. You just imagine plus q charge is here. You just imagine plus q charge is here. You just imagine there is another charge plus q here. You just imagine another charge plus q there. Let r is the distance between the two charges. Let r is the distance between the two charges. Now we have this electric flux pi is equal to, electric flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times, 1 by epsilon naught times charge enclosed by the surface, charge enclosed by the surface. What is the charge enclosed by the surface? What is the charge within the surface? That is q, this is flux. We have another equation, flux pi is equal to closed integral E dA cos theta, closed integral E dA cos theta. In case of sphere, the electric field direction will be radial, isn't it? Okay, then theta will be always 0 here in this case. Angle between normal to the surface and the electric field direction, theta will be 0, cos 0 is 1, Then you take that flux pi is equal to E electric field there, E is electric field there, okay. And closed integral area of a sphere, area or total surface area of the sphere, that is 4 pi r square, is electric field. What is electric field? Electric field is nothing but force experienced by charge. Electric field is nothing but force experienced by the charge, that is electric field at that point. So we can write that, from this we can write that force is equal to electric field into q. Then flux pi is equal to, instead of E we can write that, F by Q. We can write electric force experienced by the charge, 4 pi r square, Then if we just equate these two, we get that 1 divided by epsilon naught q, charge enclosed by the surface, within the surface, is equal to F divided by Q, 4 pi r square. From this we get F is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, Q and Q. There are two charges at this Q and this Q. So this is Coulomb's law of electrostatics. Force is directly proportional to product of the charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two charges, where epsilon naught is permittivity. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value is 9 into 10 power 9, epsilon naught value is 8.854 into 10 power minus 12. So we can just relate Gauss law and Coulomb's law of electrostatics like this. Okay. Hope children you understand this. Now we are going to apply Gauss law and find out the electric field at a point due to infinitely charged sphere. Okay, wire. It's a length. It's a very lengthy wire. Infinite length wire. It is being uniformly charged. We are going to find out the electric field at this point. Electric field at a point. Flux pi is equal to. We have flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times charge enclosed by the surface. Flux pi is equal to closed integral E dA cos theta, Okay, our aim is to find out electric field at this point. Imagine lambda is linear charge density. It means charge per unit length. Just for understanding, you just imagine that the total length of this charged rod length L is equal to 10 meter. You just imagine the total length of the rod is 10 meter. Linear charge density, it means the charge per unit length. It means for 1 meter it has, just for understanding, 5 coulomb of charges. Imagine for 1 meter length it has 5 coulomb of charges. Then what will be the total length? Then what will be the total charges? Then total charge will be equal to 10 into 5, that is 50 coulomb of charges. If this charged wire has 5 coulomb of charges for 1 meter, and if the total length of the charged wire is 10 meter, then total number of charges in the wire will be Q is equal to 10 into 5, that is 50 coulomb of charges, isn't it? So it is nothing but lambda. So lambda is charge per unit length, charge per 1 meter length of the wire. If L is total length of the wire, if you want to calculate total charges here, then Q will be equal to lambda into L. That's what we are going to apply. Total charge Q is equal to lambda into L. For this, we have to imagine a Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface is an imaginary surface. Imagine a Gaussian surface with a radius r, just like a cylinder, because the wire will be a cylinder, isn't it? Wire will be like a cylinder, isn't it? Therefore, the Gaussian surface also like a cylinder where whose length is L. The same we are going to apply here. Pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. Pi is equal to closed integral E dA cos theta. Just now we discussed that total charge Q is equal to lambda into L. Where lambda is linear charge density and L is total length of the conductor here. Q is equal to lambda into L. Okay. Now, you just look at this. At the curved surface, the electric field is acting along this direction. Normal is also in the same direction. Then theta is equal to 0 here. Here theta is equal to 0. And here also theta is equal to 0 here. Whereas at the topmost point here, theta, angle between normal and electric field direction, theta is equal to 90 degree. And here also theta is equal to 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0. Cos 90 degree is equal to 0. And here cos 90 degree is equal to 0. So these two parts of the electric field fluxes we are omitting, because cos 90 that's equal to 0. Here theta is equal to 0, cos 0 is 1. On the curved surface area, wherever we find that electric field will act normally, then theta will be 0. Here cos 0 is equal to 1. Then if you just find out this, pi is equal to electric field E, closed integral dA, cos theta value 1, that we notice that. Then integral dA, that is curved surface area for a cylinder like this. Okay, this total surface, this bottom surface will be pi r square, isn't it? The bottom surface will be pi r square. Then this surface will also be pi r square. Okay, it is like a area of a circle, and this curved surface area, or a circumference here, the circumference will be 2 pi r, isn't it? Only the circumference. If we just calculate circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. In that case, the curved surface area will be equal to 2 pi r into h. For the cylinder, h is height. So we substitute height, whereas in this case we have taken L is length of the conductor. Therefore 2 pi RL is the curved surface area. In case for a cylinder, if you want to find out volume, volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r square h. Volume of a cylinder is pi r square h. In this case, pi r square L. This 2 pi RL is only the curved surface area. If you want to find out the total area of the cylinder, then what we have to do, the curved surface area, we have to add this pi r square and pi r square. So we get 2 pi r, the total surface area will be equal to 2 pi RL plus 2 pi r square. That is the curved surface area, 2 pi RL, and 1 pi r square is here and another pi r square is here. Both must be added. Whereas for this calculation, we need only the curved surface area, which is equal to 2 pi RL, So this is equal to electric field. This area will be equal to 2 pi RL. And this flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. Total charge enclosed by the surface will be equal to lambda into L, where lambda is linear charge density and L is total length. That is equal to lambda into L. If we equate these two, we will get that electric field E is equal to 2 pi r L, that is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times lambda into L. L gets cancelled, E into. Then we get electric field E is equal to lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Electric field at this point will be equal to lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Can also be written as lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Then just with this equation, you just multiply and divide. Then can be written as 2 lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Whereas electric potential at a point due to a point charge is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Electric potential at a point due to a point charge V is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r, whereas in this case 2 lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught r we can just compare. So with this equation we can calculate electric field at a point due to a charged wire. This is an application of Gauss law. Electric field at a point due to a charged wire. Now, electric field due to a charged metallic plate, electric field due to uniformly charged. You see that the charges are uniformly distributed. This uniformly charged plate. Imagine a charged plate like this. If you just look at the figure, it is obvious that it is uniformly charged. Okay. Now, Imagine a Gaussian surface like this. Gaussian surface is imaginary surface. Gaussian surface is imaginary surface. At this point, you see that electric field is acting along this direction. Electric field is acting along this direction. Normal is also in the same direction. Normal is also in the same direction. Therefore, theta is equal to 0 here. Theta is equal to 0 there. Cos theta. Cos theta is cos 0, whereas cos 0 is 1. Cos 0 is 1. On the Gaussian surface, on the curved surface area like this here, electric field is acting along this direction and normal to the surface will be along this direction. Okay, electric field will be acting along this direction, normal to the surface will be acting along this direction. In this surface, curved surface area, here theta is equal to 90 degree. Theta is equal to 90 degree. Cos theta is equal to cos 90 degree, where cos 90 degree is equal to 0. Cos 90 degree is equal to 0. So only these two parts going to contribute for the electric field. Flux phi is equal to, we have flux phi is equal to closed integral E dA cos theta, closed integral E dA cos theta. That's equal to E electric field there, closed integral dA. This is a small area here, this is small area here. Like this, if we integrate, we are going to get the total area of the plate. Small area here, small area here. Like this, if we imagine Gaussian surface at different parts of the charged plate and integrate, we are going to get total area of the plate. Then closed integral dA will be equal to area of the plate. Cos theta, in this here theta is equal to 0, then cos 0 is 1. This is flux at this point P, at this point P dash. So total flux will be equal to electric field due to charge at this point P and due to P dash, therefore it will be EA plus EA. It's because total electric flux will be equal to electric field closed integral E dA cos theta, closed integral E dA cos theta at point P plus closed integral E dA cos theta, E dA cos theta at the point P dash, Therefore, we get total electric flux is equal to 2 EA. Total electric flux is equal to 2 EA. And also, flux phi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. Imagine sigma is charge density here. Sigma is charge density. That is charge per unit area. Total area of the plate is A. Then total charges present in this plate will be sigma into A. Sigma is charge per unit area. That is charge per unit area. Sigma is total area. Then sigma into A will give us total charge. So instead of Q, we substitute that is sigma into A divided by epsilon naught. Sigma divided by A into epsilon naught. Then if you are equating these two, we can write that. If you are equating these two, we can write that 2EA is equal to sigma into A divided by epsilon naught. Sigma into A divided by epsilon naught. Then we can write that electric field E is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. Sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. This is the equation to calculate electric field at this point. E is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught is the equation to call the electric field at this point. See, in the first case, we have only one plate which is being positively charged. See, in the second case, we have two plates which are kept parallel. One is positively charged, another one is negatively charged. Now, consider a point P1 between the plates. Consider point P2 right side to the negatively charged plate. Consider a point P3 left side to the positively charged plate. Now, due to this positively charged plate, the electric field will act along this direction. Here also electric field will act along this direction. We know that the force line starts at positive charge, isn't it? So, electric field will be along this direction. Due to this negative, the electric field direction will be like this, towards the charged plate. Okay, it will be like this. So, if we consider that at a point P1, you see that electric field due to positively charged plate is along this direction. Imagine positive x-axis. Electric field due to this negatively charged plate is also along the positive x-axis. So, both are parallel, both the electric fields are parallel, therefore they are added up. Whereas in this case, point P2, you see that electric field due to positive charge plate is acting along this direction, positive x-axis. Electric field due to negatively charged plate is acting along negative x-axis, along this direction. Therefore, the resultant electric field is 0. They are getting cancelled. They are getting cancelled because they are acting in opposite directions. Here also the same. Electric field due to positive charge plate is acting along negative x-axis. Electric field due to negatively charged plate is acting along positive x-axis. Therefore, they are getting cancelled. They are getting cancelled. So, resultant electric field is only due to this. Then resultant electric field will be equal to resultant electric field. See here we have calculated electric field at a point due to single plate. Here there are two plates. Then resultant electric field will be equal to electric field due to the first plate plus electric field due to the second plate. So this will be equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught, that is equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. This is electric field. This electric field at a point between the points due to parallelly kept uniformly charged plate. Between the plates, the electric field is added up because they are acting in same direction. Outside the plates, the resultant electric field is 0 because they are getting cancelled. So electric field due to the charged plates parallelly kept is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. In this case, electric field is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught. We shall go to the next concept, that is another application of Gauss law. Here, imagine a sphere which is being charged. We are going to find out electric field outside the sphere and inside the sphere. We are going to find out electric field outside the sphere, inside the sphere, on the surface of the sphere. Imagine this is a sphere with radius r. Consider a point P outside the sphere at a distance r from from center of the sphere. Okay, and consider another point inside the sphere, which is at a distance r from center of the sphere, where this capital R is the radius. Radius of the sphere. Now, flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. What is another equation? Flux pi is equal to closed integral E dA cos theta. Now, flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by the surface. It's a sphere. If sigma is charge density, that is charge per unit area, and A is total area, then total charge Q will be is equal to sigma into A. The sigma is charge density, that is charge per unit area, and A is total area, then total charge will be is equal to sigma into A. That's we are going to substitute here. And in this case, here we have flux pi is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times sigma into A. Here flux pi is equal to E electric field closed integral dA cos theta. You just imagine a sphere. Then integral dA is total area of the sphere, which is 4 pi r square. This is 4 pi r square cos theta. Theta is angle between normal to the surface and electric field. It's a sphere. Wherever we find, we will get normal. Electric field will also be normal. So in all the points on the sphere, theta will be equal to 0. On the surface of the sphere, at all points, theta will be equal to 0. Cos theta is equal to cos 0, where cos 0 is equal to 1. So this term becomes 1. If you are equating these two, we can write that electric field into 4 pi r square, E 4 pi r square is equal to 1 by epsilon naught sigma into A, as given in the textbook. Let us take that it is total charge Q. Then electric field E is equal to total charge enclosed by the surface divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. r square. In case the point is inside the sphere, in case the point is inside the sphere, the point is inside the sphere, like if the point is inside the sphere, then electric field at a point inside the sphere, is equal to, what is Q? Q is charge enclosed by the surface. This is a sphere, charges will be on the sphere, on the surface, charges will be on the surface. Inside the sphere there is no charge, inside the sphere Q is equal to 0, there is no charge enclosed by the surface here. Inside the small radius r, there is no charge, therefore Q is equal to 0, then electric field will be equal to 0, electric field will be 0. On the surface, electric field on the surface here, electric field on the surface at this point, electric field on the surface. At this point, electric field on the surface R will be equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Instead of small r square, we are going to write capital R square, where capital R is radius of the sphere. It has charges, therefore Q. And similarly, for electric field at a point outside the sphere, with the radius r, then again electric field outside the sphere E suffix r is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, where r is radius again, and within this surface charges are there, because within this Gaussian surface only the charged sphere is there. Within this Gaussian surface only charged sphere is there. Therefore, this Gaussian surface is enclosing charges. Therefore, Q is not 0 in this case. So, E suffix r equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Electric field is a vector quantity. So, if you want to write it in vector form, I can just add, as r is here, I can make r cap, just r cap. In some places even we can have n cap also, n cap also we can have. So, this is applications of Gauss law to find out electric field at a point due to a charged wire, infinite length wire, and the second one is electric field due to an infinitely charged plate, and this one is electric field due to a charged metallic sphere. Now, you just look at this graph. This graph talks about electric field due to a sphere, and potential due to a sphere. You could see that in case of a sphere, as the charges are on the surface of the sphere, in our previous discussion we have seen that there is no electric field inside the sphere. That's what represented in the graph. You see that till it comes to R from the center. Till it comes to R from the center. Okay. Whereas in this case R is a radius, capital R is a radius. In these points inside the sphere, electric field is equal to 0. Inside the sphere, electric field is equal to 0 because no charge is enclosed by the surface. Therefore, E is equal to 0. That's what represented here. Okay, up to this point, electric field is 0. And after this what happens? Electric field value decreases gradually. Just look at this equation. Electric field is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So, as the radius increases, radius of the imaginary sphere increases, electric field value decreases gradually. Okay, that's what we understand from this graph. If you just come to this graph, this is a comparison. You see that in case of electric field till R radius, electric field is 0. After that, electric field value gradually decreases because inversely proportional to square of the distance. You just see here, potential also decreases after this point, or electric potential due to a charged sphere decreases with respect to R because it is inversely proportional to R, whereas electric potential is not zero inside the sphere. Electric potential is not zero inside. What is electric potential? Electric potential is work done in moving charge, isn't it? That is not zero. That is not zero inside the sphere. Okay, because that is work done. V is fixed value. V is a constant value inside the sphere. Inside the sphere, inside the charged sphere, electric potential is constant. Electric potential is constant. Outside the sphere, electric potential value gradually decreases. It is inversely proportional to R. In case of electric field, inside the charged sphere, electric field is zero. Outside the sphere, it decreases gradually. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Potential is inversely proportional to distance R or radius. Here it is inversely proportional to square of the radius. Okay children, we hope that you understand these concepts better. Gauss law and electric flux. Okay, our school, Sri Vidyalakshmi Metric Higher Secondary School, is taking steps to upload videos on these concepts for the benefit of the students. So whenever you find time, you can watch this video to understand the concepts better. You can prepare well for your board examinations and entrance examination. Okay, if you like this video, please give comments on this and you please subscribe our school Sri Vidyalakshmi Metric Higher Secondary School YouTube channel. In case if there is any criticism, it is also welcome. Please post your comments, whether it is positive comments or negative comments, whatever is we are ready to accept to improve our performance. Please put comments on this YouTube channel. Students இந்த மாதிரி எங்கள் ஸ்கூல் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் நாங்கள் அப்லோட் பண்ணுற இந்த யூடியூப் சேனலில் இந்த யூடியூப் வீடியோஸ்லாம் நீங்கள் பாருங்கள். ஃபிசிக்ஸ் மட்டும் இல்லை, எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட்டுமே நாங்கள் அப்லோட் பண்ணுறோம் ஃபார் த பெனிஃபிட் ஆஃப் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ். இதை நீங்கள் நல்லா பாருங்கள். பிகாஸ் whenever you find time, you can watch. உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது டவுட் இருந்தால் நீங்கள் இமீடியட்டாக பார்த்துக்கலாம், எத்தனை பேரை வேணால் பார்த்துக்கலாம். ஓகே, யூ ப்ளீஸ் ஈவன் நீங்கள் ஒரு ட்ராவல் டைமில் கூட நீங்கள் இந்த ஆடியோ கேட்டுக்கலாம் இல்லையா, யூ கேன் லேர்ன். ஸோ கெட் த பெனிஃபிட் ஆஃப் திஸ். அண்ட் உங்களுக்கு இந்த சேனல் எங்களோட கான்செப்ட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளனேஷன்லாம் பிடிச்சிருந்ததுன்னா ப்ளீஸ் சப்ஸ்கிரைப். இந்த எங்களோட வீடியோ பற்றின கமெண்ட்ஸ் நாங்கள் எதிர்பார்க்குறோம். அது பாசிட்டிவ் கமெண்ட்ஸாக இருந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல, கிரிட்டிசிசமாக இருந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல. யூ ப்ளீஸ் புட் யுவர் கமெண்ட்ஸ் ஆன் த யூடியூப் சேனல். ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ சில்ட்ரன், தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் லிசனிங். தேங்க்யூ.